Hello, good morning. My name's Lance. Hope you're having a good day today. And today I'm going to do if you have a good Labor Day, it was a good weekend here in Montana. It was warm, and hopefully everybody's doing well wherever you're at. Today I'm going to do a mountain little painting for. I'm going to do some mountains with palette knives, a couple palette knives, and do a little video tutorial or whatever. Maybe it'll help you learn a little different technique or some things I do that I like to makes it easier sometimes. And this is just a 16 by 20. I just brushed in a sky with some paint thinner, and it's all dry. But I think sometimes they're easier to see when they're on larger canvases. But this is my base coat, and I've just taken some dark blue. It's a mountain mixture, and added some brown to it because it's going to be a summer. There's going to be no snow on these, so I'm just going to use that. And some brown in there and some white. So my base coat will be the darkest. This will be my shadow colors. It's just my base coat, plus I've added in some more white and some more brown. And then my highlights are burnt umber and burnt sienna with white. And I mix those in. And I kind of keeping them just kind of marbly. They look better when you start using them. So hopefully this works out. And I'm going to use a pencil too here. I'm going to make it easier. Sometimes you can use a drawing pencil and sketch out your mountain, and maybe that'll make it easier for you. So let's get going. And here we go. So I'm going to start out. I think I'm going to have the light coming from the left. Sometimes you can do the right or whatnot, but maybe we'll do that. Let's go over here, and we're just going to create a peak. Maybe we'll start over here, with this one, and just come down that way. Maybe have another one here. Okay, and this peak can just kind of come this way. Okay, and you can have it flat or make it a little higher. However, this will just give you a general idea of the route we want to go. There's one there. Maybe that comes down to there. Okay, you can make that a little higher if you want. Let's do that. All this in the middle will be gone, so pull that this way. Okay, and then let's see. Let's go, because the light's going to be coming from here, right? So we'll do that, and then there's another one that comes over here and comes this way. Okay, you can make those. Try not to make them pointy, but they should have bumps and stuff in them. But this is just a general idea. And then you can make, come down the middle like this, and maybe you want see that? That'll be your highlights, shadows. Same thing on these. This one could be tucked back in there. There could be a ridge right here too. Doesn't matter. And same thing here. There. So there's our mountains. They're kind of large, but and anything in here should probably fall away when we're done. So okay, so let's get started. I'm going to start out with a base coat, and I've added a little bit. This base coat, I've put a little bit of medium in it to try to keep it from being too. And I'm just going to grab a little bit on here, and then come up here, and we'll just kind of come in and start up. Okay. Just kind of follow it in there, up top here. Okay. Sometimes it's hard to scratch it in. Okay. Okay. Come and get some more. I've got my palette down, and just kind of follow the edges. Okay. And what we can do, and just scrape it in. It doesn't have to be thick because we want it to be kind of thin. And let's see. And follow these down. Okay. Too bad. A little more on there. You can come over here. Same thing. Just kind of pushing it up. Try to keep the edges kind of tight like this. Okay. Sometimes this can be a little difficult, but if you get that on there, see, watch this. There. That's not bad. And we're going to use a brush on this too. I should have told you. That'll make it easier to. And you can put little bumps and stuff in there. See? As you go. And hopefully I have enough base coat. Come down here. Same thing. Just get some stuff on there. Kind of get these edges in. however you can do it. So I'm just getting on the knife, and then over here, same thing. Get a lot on there, bring it down there. If you get too much, just grab it off, and you can use it in another spot. See that? You can make your base coat darker, lighter. Usually if you have a dark base coat, sometimes it makes it a little easier to get your mountains in there. So bring it down. See? Just do that. Yeah, we had a good day. We went boating on lake, out on Flathead Lake with some good friends, and it was fun until the boat quit. I get towed. Oh, that's all right though. Some nice people we didn't know came and helped us, and that was nice of them. Pulled us back to our dock, and then the next day we had to tow it over and get it on the trailer. Okay. Okay, I think I'm gonna have enough base coat, which is good because I don't feel like mixing much more up. And over here, just kind of come in and see what I'm doing. One thing you want is try to keep your edges pretty solid, and that's why I'm going to come back here. Okay, see there's a lot of paint there. You can pull that off. Okay, grab it over here. And some of this should pull down, and the base will be a little easier to do. See? Maybe down to here. You don't need a lot down here. And I might take and grab a smaller brush and get these edges fine-tuned. Another way. There's no, this is kind of how, if you've ever watched Bob Ross paint, this is kind of how he does his mountains there. They have a lot, he uses a knife, and or whoever does. Okay, pull down. This is how he'll do his mountains, and then he just, none of his videos he comes in and shows you with you don't use a knife at first, or the pencil. So a little different, but same idea. And then I'm going to go over here. I'm going to grab a couple brushes. Maybe we'll try this one. Yeah, let's see here. I'll do this one. Oops. I know I have one over here somewhere. This one will work, I think. Yeah. And then I'm going to try something a little smaller, maybe, to give me some points, and make sure that looks good. That nice and focused. There. Good. So you got some peaks there, and sometimes they're a little tough, but so this is just a brush here, and we're going to come in and let's see here. I'm going to come in and fine tune it a little bit. Okay, just kind of do some points there. There. I can come down, just roughen it up a little. There. Over here, we make that one straighter. Maybe that comes out a little bit more here. Doesn't matter. Just kind of get those edges pulled in. There. Maybe this one just comes up like that, comes down. And this one over here. Down here. Just trying to get the edges a little bit better. There. A little pointier there, maybe. Who knows? There. That kind of looks cool. And this is, I took this, it's a backwards painting of something in Glacier. So, okay, so then you just grab a regular brush. This is just a 2-inch brush, and we're going to pull some of this down. Okay, get that edge on there. Get as high up as you can. And just angle this one this way. That one can go that way. Okay, get this down. You're just pulling that on the brush. See that? Now this canvas isn't wet. Can be easier if it's wet, but I did add a little medium, just some. This is a clear gel. I don't know if you can see that. It's by Gamblin, and I added it to the base coat because I wanted it to slide a little better. And the less you have on the base coat, the better. When it comes to highlighting with a knife, wet on wet. This is kind of wet on wet, I guess, because we're not going to let this dry before and just pull down. See that? Scrub it in, whatever. That might go this way. I'm still not sure how I want to do the ridges, but see that there? I like that. I don't know how for sure. I like the peak here though, so make this one a little bigger. Okay, come over there. Just do that there. Make some humps there. You can come back in with the knife and just make a little more. Maybe this comes out a little. See that? It comes up. Make that one a little wider. Gotta get some more paint. There. Something like that. Makes it look a little more realistic. There. Grab this one again. Just, this can come down and just scrub that in. There. There, that looks a little better. And over here, there's a lot of paint on there still, so we can come in and pull some more of that off. You can push it down here. There's a lot right in here. Pull that down. See that? There. There. Okay, grab your brush again. Pull. And this base coat can be like that. And you can kind of detail out your mountain too this way. That's what I'm doing. And just have fun and relax. Don't get all wound up over painting. Practice makes you good. So don't forget to practice. And I'm just going to kind of mist out the bottom. Pull that down. Pull, pull, pull. I'm not even sure which way I'm going to go with them. Okay. You can have a little more of a peak on it. Right here. That one comes up a little more. There. There. A little peak there. Peaks in the back. Probably, you get too many, peaks, you can make it a little more difficult, but and you could sit and work these however you want them. It doesn't matter. You can pull that up a little bit there. It has something there that comes down, goes up. There. There. See? Pull that down again. The edges are pretty good. We can use the knife to fix them. But maybe that goes that way. I think that's what it's going to do. Boom, boom, boom. This one's going to go this way. And then we'll have some shadows. Can you see how that's starting to get develop? Okay, good. All right, and everything's focused in. The problem sometimes is I lose focus and then it kind of is a bummer. Okay, well, I'm going to start out with this same knife. I'm going to wipe it off though. I need to get a paper towel over here I can use to keep everything kind of dialed in. There. Okay, let's see how this goes. So first thing you want to do when you're doing these mountains is you want to split them in half. So let's see here. This one here, where's our light going to hit? Light's coming from this way, right? So we're going to have the light, shadows over there. So let's say, you just start wherever. Maybe here. The light will come down and go this way. So it's hard to see, so why don't we just start putting some highlights in. So I'm going to grab some of this color, just a little bit on the knife, and then come over here, and we'll just start down. And when you get over here, you're going to, you don't want a bunch of paint right on the edge here, because it'll be too much. So just start down. Maybe we can start here. See that? And just let it break on the knife. Wiggle it if you have to. Okay? Come down. And just think about your angles. Okay? See that? There we go. Again, just come in here. Maybe we can come this way a little bit. That's a little difficult. But I'm going to have to come this way. See that? Is my hand in the way? And over here, I just want to come up here and just start touching and pulling. Okay? See that? Put a little more highlight in there. I just added some more white to it so it sticks out a little more. And then over here, maybe we'll just kind of, open the knife. My hands are flat. A little more white in there. We got plenty of highlight color, okay? And down here, you can maybe just come and do this. See? There we go. Again, let's see, we're gonna bring this down, aren't we? I want it to come down here. So that's kind of breaking a little. Down in here. Just let it break this way. How's that? How's that looking? Yeah, not too bad. Hopefully you can see that. I might add a little more. I want the highlights to stick out more, so I'm throwing more white in as I go. Okay, and then up here we can say, maybe just come right here. See that? That's going to come this way. I think I want the highlights to come this way. See that? That's not too bad. And this knife seems to be working really good. I'm going to come up here, just get a little on the top of the small part of the knife. Just touch. Get all the way up there though. Come down the side. Just let it bounce. Sometimes you get so much on there. But you got to get past these edges here. So I'm just trying to get that over there. See that? Oh, it's shaky today. And over here, okay, maybe there's a little light right on that guy, right there. He might be back there, sitting up the back. Okay, there. How's that look? Too bad. Okay, come back in. Yeah, more in here. I just want some good color in there. Maybe down here, we're gonna pull that out this way. See? There. So you got a nice peak there, and it's kind of starting to see where the sun's hitting. I like that color. It looks pretty decent. Okay, let's grab a little bit here. It's almost like maybe easier if I go this way. Watch this. I got it on the back side of the knife, and just come in here. Okay, pull that down. And all I'm doing here, see, there's, on this one, I want to go this way. You can do that, or you can go this way, but this one I went the other way, so I just put on the back of the knife, just push up a little. You don't want too much. Sometimes it's easier depending on, like I'm left-handed, so. And just kind of give that a little touch. You know, if it doesn't break, leave it alone, just keep moving. And then here, maybe we can have a little more here. Sometimes it's easier to get up top there, going this way. See how that worked? And then you can come back and go the other route. Well, there. And then we got to think about this mountain here, how we want it to come to. That's a lot of paint. We just let it break. If you have to, just go like, you can go wiggle it back and forth. Okay, you want that paint to, you know, like very flat. Okay, put a little bit on there. There we go. Okay, nice highlights there. Okay, and when you're doing these, you just have to decide how far you want your mountain to go down and how far you want your highlights. Sometimes your shadows, you know, they look good now. Your shadows can be, you can leave this. You don't want to overdo them, okay? Let's come over here, and maybe that'll be in the dark, but let's come over here, and, you know, maybe there's a little bit in here. Again, I'm just going to grab a little bit. I'm going backwards. You know, just a little bit in there. Poking through. Maybe we can leave it dark too. I don't know. Okay, then we're going to come up here. Start here. See what I'm doing? Follow that edge down. Back of the knife. Come up here. Same thing. Just kind of grab and pull. You can come this way. Pull it out. Okay, come up here. Start finding where you want your angle to go, right? So come this way and pull. How about that? These are thick. Get some white in there. Much more white. There. I'm just trying to mix up my highlight color, make it a little lighter. Okay. Come in there, get a little bit there, come down again. This one here. How's that? There we go. Come back in here. Just again, pull down. Come in with a, okay, and then maybe this one's going to come down this way. Just think about where the light's going to hit. Oh, you know, and then just got enough paint on there. It's breaking. There we go. Okay. There. So you got your mountain colors, and you got to think there. These are steep, so sometimes you can just come straight down. Watch this. Pull it over. There we go. A little bit there. Again, you can come in and do the knife the opposite direction and just touch. There we go. Just let it bounce around. As long as you have, let it go up a little if you want, like these. Over here. There we go. Over here, this can come down into there. Okay, see how I did that? There, how's that look? You got some pretty good peaks there. They look red, orange, like it's a pretty good color in there. Little color, that burnt sienna is a nice color. So those are going to be good. I want to kind of get this ridged out a little more here. And you can wiggle it, you can tap, whatever. You can go like this. See? See that crevasse in there? There. So there, I think that's a, so you can see your highlights are there. If you want to come down a little bit more, like right in here, you can come in and kind of come up, and you can go this way a little bit, get that peak there. Run out of peak, and then just come back down here. There. Okay, so you can see how your ridges are going. I like that. Okay, we need some more white for our highlights. Okay, I'm just mixing that up and make it a little lighter. Get some brown in there. Okay, sienna. We'll come back in and have some more highlights there, make it a little brighter. Okay, now, so as it looks good there, I think that looks all right. Now let's go and work on some of the shadows, okay? I didn't use the bigger knife, and maybe I should have, but, well, there's right over here I want to come in, and that looks kind of, you know, it needs something else. So we're going to come in and put another peak right in here. Watch this. Let's go backwards and grab another peak in here. See, watch this. So I want it to come this way. Okay, just grab that. Maybe come over there, a little bit there. There we go. And pull some of that over. There's a peak there. Go light. Just trying to, it's going to break it up a little bit. Okay, like here. There we go. A little bit there. And one up top here. We want this to come down, maybe straight. There we go. Kind of angle a little bit. How's that? That looks a little better. Maybe this one can be this way. See that? Just a little, not too much. There, I wanted to make that a little more ragged over there. I think that looks better. And we can come back and highlight a lot of stuff too. Okay, this is a lot of mountains. I mean, this is taking kind of difficult. Sometimes it's easier with white. So let's do some shadows. And I'm going to do them this way. So I'm going to put a little bit on here. Can you see that? Up. You don't want to kill all your dark color, but there's not a lot you can push. There's not a lot you can push into it and pull it. Okay, pull it this way. It's not bad. I'm going to put a little more white in there. My shadows. Okay, I want them to stand out a little more. Push up. There we go. And then over here, let's try one. Just kind of come in and pull the opposite direction. See that? A little dark. here. See this? It's very steep. So in that case, you want to kind of, you can pull straight down. See that? Follow the angles. Okay, I'm going to get a little more white so they stand out more for you. Just be easier to see. Okay. Okay, I'm not just trying to make the shadows a little lighter. There. There. See that? That might work. Go up again. A lot of paint. A lot of paint. Wipe the knife off. Okay, push up. There you go. And come back in, a little more highlights. You're getting a lot of paint on there, so we'll just kind of pull it this way. Okay, opposite. Opposite, the way you're going. Bring that down there. See how it's, sometimes it's much easier going this way. That might go over there. See, just kind of, okay, over here. There's probably a shadow there. You can pull that into the brown. Okay, you can go this way with it if you want. And pull these down. See what I'm doing here? Just kind of pulling that over. Maybe there's a little in there. Go more here. Right there. Okay, so you got your shadows there. Like that. Okay, and then we'll go over here and work on this one a little more. Just pull that out. But that paint can be thick. This one will take forever to dry. And then another one there. You got to kind of come down where the little highlights are. Pull that across. There. A little shadow there. Maybe you got some down here. You know, there's edges and stuff there. And go over here. Pull that off. How's that look? Now let's go up here and figure out what is this one here. Just pull that one down. See that? Slide that in there and just follow your edges. Is my head in the way? You can grab that there. If you want to do it. This is steep, so you want to just pull straight down. What do you think? If you have to, you can come in and do it this way. It might be easier. Just kind of pull. Push that a little bit in there. There. Over here. Oops. These ones here. Again, just maybe grab it there and pull this way. You can use, sometimes you have to move the knife around a little to do different angles. And it's okay if sometimes the blue mixes with the highlight color. See that? There we go. I like that. Up here, just kind of there. Okay, you got some nice shadows on those. I think it looks good. I like it. And then inside, some of these you can come in and pull some shadows in here. You know, in here you can do a little bit here and there. Okay, a little bit in here. Let's see. Right in here, maybe it comes down a little more. Like that. You can get more white in them too. You need to in some spots, like in here. Right on the edge there. See? And you can work these forever. I'm just trying to show you. If you're bored, you can shut this off. But if you, I'm just trying to show you the way to, you know, how easy these can be, and to do these this way. Okay, I like that. Narrow, simple. We're just about wrapped up. But another thing you can do now is come back in, get some more highlight colors, and maybe you wanna peek here. Maybe you wanna peek here and grab it. Yeah, pull it over. Highlight these a little more. See that peak goes out. Pull it this way. A little more light. Here, a little bit in here you can pull down. See, just come back over here. A little, just let it bounce. Okay, so you get a little more light on there. And one thing you gotta do is you get that, when you get that, some of that other color on there, you got blue, you want to wipe it off. See that? You know, get some more down here. You're getting a lot of paint on there now, but you can come in and highlight this a little more. See that? There, just kind of do that one. Maybe over here you want to come up a little more. You can highlight that right through there. Wiggle it if you have to. Okay, wipe it off if you get too much of that blue on there. Come back in and work on some highlights. Just a little bit up in there. That one you can just grab the small end of the knife and just maybe go here. I know, maybe a little bit there. See, a little peak there. Okay, pulling that down. Grabbing some more highlight. Maybe a little bit right here. Highlight that one a little bit. There. See, then they start to stand out. Okay, come up here. We definitely need more up here. I'm going to do it this way though. Watch this. Come in here. There you go. Right there. See? And you might get too much paint on them, but this is a practice. You can pull it up. It gives you, see now it looks like it's got some, you know, as you work them, you can, there, see? I like that. This can come down here. Get some highlights in this one, you know. See, just moving the knife around. Hey, down here, you want a little highlight. Your knife is almost flat. See? And then come maybe here and do this. See? Whatever. And then when you're bored, you just stop. There. What do you think of that? Not too bad. And you get some white, some really bright colors. Get that on there. Maybe you want this to be lighter here. Right there. Okay. So there you go. What do you think of those? They look pretty ragged, pretty good. And then when you're, you know, and you can work these for as long as you want. If you want them lighter, you can put more white in the highlights, you know, like here. Watch this. You could come in here and just touch a little bit of this. I'm just using pure white here. A little bit there. I like some, you know, we don't have much. And then over here, you could go a bit in there. You come in and put a little white in there. Down to there. Maybe there's a little snow. Maybe. Over here, maybe a little bit. Pure white. Mix that. It'll mix too. So up here, maybe go. Not getting much in there. There we go. Just adds a little spunk to it. Whatever. Right here. See? It's a little bit. You can do whatever you want. There's a lot of paint. Just a little bit. There we go. You can pull that way a little and then go down. There we go. Makes it a little lighter. And there. These are a little tougher because you got a lot of peaks in them and stuff. But hopefully this kind of helps you out. I'm gonna take, and when you're doing these, you come in. And now for the next layer, I don't know what I'll do. But for the next layer, you can come in and grab this and pull down like you want to kind of just, the bottom, you can kind of soften it. And go up a little bit, not too far. And don't make this level, pull some higher than the others, okay? I'm telling you, otherwise you'll probably be mad. Okay, over here, again, just kind of follow your angles. Okay. Pull that. You can tap, pull, whatever. Very lightly though. Over here you go this way. Okay, this one will come this way. Over there goes that way. Okay. So everything, you know, and you don't want to go up into there, but you want to stay down here. And then you can kind of just, you can add white to it at the base if you want to lighten it up a little bit. You know, down in here. kind of take some of that paint that's on there for the next one. Maybe I'll come in now and do another something with some trees or some foreground stuff. But for today, just to do mountains, you know, it's kind of simple. One of the things we wanted to cover was the fact that, you know, kind of split it down the middle. You know, maybe that one got a little bit far over, but and you can come back in with some dark and darken some of these edges here. Watch this. Add a little more dark back in there. All right, where those meet. See, it's just, you know, when you're doing this, you just can do whatever, and you go as long as you want. Sometimes you can work them to death, but maybe right here. It's a little dark right there. Right to the top there. See that? It's very thick. You can get a little bit in here, maybe. But it adds a lot of cool, you know, makes them look good. Maybe a little bit in here on this edge. Oh, there's so much paint in there. But there. A little bit dark there. See? Very. Maybe a little bit right up in here. Get a lot of paint buildup. Makes it a little more difficult, but you kind of got to mush it around a little bit, and it can get you in trouble too. But like here, you get a little bit there. Kind of gives you a little, how's that look? See, a little darker areas here and there. I see something here would be kind of cool to do. Watch this one. Just get a little there, maybe right in there. This little edge here. I'm going over here. Just right on the edge there. Yeah, a little edge there. I'll kick that out a little bit. Maybe a little bit right there. Oh, it's not working very well. A lot of paint. Watch this. Pull a little off. You can scrape it off. Okay, so when you get to a certain point, there's a lot of buildup there. You can come back in later and put some more on, but this is very thick paint, and so you'll probably, what'll happen is you can come back in and add some more to it later, and I think we're good. Hopefully this has been a good hopefully this one has helped. Okay, get a little light in there. I just keep going, like I said. If you're done, if you're, you know, had enough, that's okay. You can done watching, that's fine. But sometimes it's nice to come in and just mess around a little more. Pull that down. See that? A little highlight. Give them a little more. Just, yeah, a little bit there, like here. Sometimes you can go up first, and then pull down. I just want a little more highlights in there. I have some more paint left, so there. Okay, a little bit there, maybe right in here a little bit. Yeah. A little more there, maybe right in here. There, see that? This gives it a little more kind of color. Usually when I'm doing mountains, I like to have about 1, 2, 3, 4 different colors on them, but hopefully that helped, and that is a 39-minute tutorial, a little longer than I wanted, but give it a try, and thanks for watching. Have a great day.